What's up, everybody? This is your boy Super Mike 2164, and I'm going to come to you guys with a pretty quick, just some information to think about real quick, you know, based on everybody has experiences. So this is based on my experience, and it may work for some, it may not work for some. And what I want to do here is because one of the things that uh, with the gender war. And when I say gender war, immediately what pops into my head is people like Cynthia G, uh, Kevin Samuels, uh, the Manosphere, the Divest Movement, Paris Hilton, or whatever her name is, Paris Milan. These people who I guess they've made a reputation for themselves being a staunch, you know, gender war advocate. And these type of people are in a forever battle against really themselves. They're, when you're battling, especially your own counterpart, and keep in mind, Black America, we are a distinct group. We are a group of people, male and female. We are a distinct group on this planet. And if we're in a forever war against our counterpart group, we're genociding ourselves. And so, that's kind of how I want to start it off. What I wanted to do is, just to lay a little foundation here. We are coming out of we're living in some real stressful times. We're coming out of some real stressful lineage. All that stuff is tatted on our DNA. It's making us susceptible to all types of, dysfunctional behaviors. But we can change that. And what we need to do when we're changing that, we need to get out of our mindset, this punitive, this punishing mentality, as if you can punish and forcibly control and manipulate like a puppet on strings. That's some slave mindset, white supremacist type stuff that we got put into. We think, just because we believe, true enough, there are roles to play, gender role. But if you choose somebody who is not fitting perfectly into the gender role, that's what you chose. You need to understand that. And in order for you, your job is, if you are committing yourself to a relationship, your commitment means that you are going to do what's necessary to solve the equation. You're going to do what's necessary to balance that scales to bring peace and happiness. You're not going to stay in a relationship that's not happy, but guess what? You're not going to just willy-nilly leave just because someone is maybe in a swing of a mood. This is not the normal them. But if that mood is just maybe a depression, just because your spouse or someone seeks into a depression, maybe they're being extra snappy, you don't understand what's going on. They're getting extra mad. Number one, you have to make, this should be your number one goal throughout your entire relationship. Your spouse should find it very easy to approach you about any situation. And even though you may have comments, thoughts that pop up in your mind, it's sometimes those thoughts, those immediate judgments that you jump to, they're hurtful to the other person. And so if a person comes to you with some information that's very sensitive for them, no matter, especially if you're not the one. Now, sometimes we both get triggered, and that's a bad situation. But it's always best if one side is relatively stable and the other one maybe is dealing with some depression or some abnormal mood swing that they're in, you know, then, we have to try to have patience with each other. We have to be able to listen to each other and not try to solve the problem. And that's one thing that I kind of am guilty of. As soon as I think of something, or as soon as something comes to me, I kind of want to solve that problem. I want to tell the other person, did you try this? Did you try that? Did you try this? Or did you try that? And a lot of times we say, well, you need to, that you need to talk. A lot of times that's very triggering. And I know I was on a panel. I talked to some sisters before, and someone said, well, you men are so sensitive. You need to stop being so sensitive. Okay. That's not a problem solving mentality. So, if we want to be in a relationship and we want to be happy in a relationship, we want to make sure the other person's happy, because if the other person's happy, then you got more chance of, they want to keep you happy, because it's just a win-win situation. Now, there's some situations that has nothing to do with our spouse. They're just internal trauma that we've experienced in our lifetime, and it causes us to have these mood swings. Those things need to be communicated. So, I'm just saying, we got to understand how to communicate with each other, how to understand if this is something as a result of my behavior, or is this something as a result of my behavior, or is this something a result of this person is just having a problem here. And if they're not ready to explain the problem, we have to be patient so some of this stuff can unravel itself, because water will find its level. You see, there's some principles that we just need to understand so that we can allow the problem to solve itself. Because sometimes you try to uncover a problem too early and it's not ready to be revealed, and you can end up doing more damage, and then you suffer from confusion because you have lack of knowledge of why this person is behaving, maybe weirdly, or they're not behaving normally. And then that triggers anger. You may call people crazy. These are the type of things when you don't understand something and someone is trying to express to you whatever they're saying, maybe you don't buy it, maybe you don't understand it. Maybe it sounds weak to you. Maybe it sounds pathetic or crazy to you. That's not, if you don't understand it, that's not the time for you to spout off at the mouth with a bunch of recommendations you don't understand. Just be quiet. Force yourself to just stay silent and intently listen. And now, if there's a pause and the person wants you to say something, then say the nicest thing that you can say, and then just think about what happened, what was being said, what is the mood of the person. This is the kind of stuff we need to connect with. We need to build the kind of connection, in especially with male and female. We need to build those type of connections so that we feel each other's pain, so that we understand when there's something wrong and how to help the person through it. Because some things you cannot solve on the outside because it has nothing to do with you. If this person, a lot of times we marry people and we don't know every detail. The person got raped when they was in school sometime, or some person gets triggered by this or that. And we find some of this stuff out years and years later, because everything doesn't come out with the courtship process, even though you do need to be courting. But, these are just some of the tips that I say. I say, if you don't understand, and make sure that you understand by getting to a point where you can both communicate, and then let alone have the conversation when the person is not so triggered. You got to look at the mood, observe the mood. You see, whoever has the most patience. Also, our diet. if we can understand the fact that our moods depend heavily on the vitamins, the chemicals that we have available to us, so that we have plenty of serotonin, our good mood hormones, and the noradrenaline, less of that. You know, our diet has a significant impact on how we are able to have the patience to solve the problems that we need to solve. And so that's kind of what I wanted to get at, everybody. Work harder. It's not about building up a family, building up a relationship, and then, because, somebody has an attitude issue or something is off brand or whatever, just leaving without literally trying to solve the problem, especially when you have someone who is not doing, they're just literally having an issue. They're not physically abusive. They're not, cheating on you. They just have an issue. Work with these problems. Try to develop your own patience, just like you have children, because this is a family issue. It requires love. This is only one person that you have to do this with, because you expect them to do something like this for you when you're having a problem, through sickness and through health. Work with people. Help them get through. Help each other get through the hard times. You see, when you do that, when you come on the other side of that, not only will you be more knowledgeable about how to solve problems, but you will be more confident in your relationship, because you got through a major trial or a trial. You got through something. So that's what you got to do. You can't keep, breaking off your relationships and bouncing from this person to that person. And then you get angry at all the other side because now you got to pay child support, or now this man won't take care of his kids, or these typical type of crappy arguments that we end up coming up with because we didn't feel like solving the initial problem that manifested itself, that we said that we would stick with them. Now, if this is an issue, like I said, and then sometimes, if this is an issue where a person needs some time because, they need a little time, just give a little time. But like I said, water will find its level, and you just want to facilitate. Your whole objective, it should be solving the problem. If you do that, then everything usually works out fine. All right. And that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to get that out. Sometimes our talking, our solutions, immediate, recommendations are not what's required. Sometimes it's just required to be quiet and seriously listen to every detail and think about everything that you thought about, and then wait a full day. Wait 24 hours before you comment on anything that was said. Just wait. Let it marinate. And that's how you do that. And that way you're actually discussing the actual problem, and you're not discussing just triggers. You're literally waiting until the triggers subside and then talking about what is the cause. So that's all I got to say, y'all. And be healthy, and peace to us all. And love yourself, love your family, love God. Peace.